Hi, crafty friends. It's a rainy afternoon here, and I'm going to work on a nice bright card to send to a friend. We're using the In Full Bloom paper. Now, this is retired paper from Close to My Heart, but I think it's really beautiful. And we just use a little of this on each card, so I think I can get quite a lot of cards out of the 2 sheets of this that I still have. And I'll put these cards on an upcoming card buffet too. So let me know if you want to join me and come make these. This is 2-sided paper. On the other side, we have these green diagonal stripes. And the paper itself has some light blue in it, some cameras, light bulbs, butterflies, flowers. It's a really great combination. So we're going to be using a stamp and die set that also came with this card making workshop. It has a die for cutting out a film reel and a butterfly, and then a stamp for the butterfly. We have these little icons that we'll put inside of the holes in the film reel. And on this card, I'm going to use the thanks stamp and the you're the best. So it'll say thanks, you're the best. So let's get going here. I have a card base and an envelope that I'm going to use, and I've already cut my strips of paper, so we could go ahead and put those down. So first we're going to have a 1/4 inch by 5.5 inch strip of the pattern. Let me add some tape to the back of this. And I'm going to attach that maybe about a 1/4 inch from the edge, leaving, a strip of white. And then next is going to come this film reel. I've already glued a strip of white paper to the back of this, and we'll be stamping in here, but I think I can stamp just fine after it's taped down. You might want to do the stamping before you do that. That's going to go here. And now I'm not going to tape this down quite yet, and I'll show you why, but next up will be a strip of the striped paper. And then we'll be stamping this butterfly and putting it here. And I'm going to sponge on some color underneath the butterfly. That'll look great as I pop that up. So before I sponge the color, I'm going to sponge the color before I tape this green strip down, just so the color will go actually behind it. So I'm using a small blending brush for this and some light green ink. This one's called Avocado. And since I know I have some space here where that green strip's going to go, I'm going to just sponge some color onto this, going almost up to the edge of the black. And this will add just a nice extra amount of color on this card. So that's all you have to do to add a little bit of sponging there. I'm going to leave this area white because that's where I'm going to stamp the sentiment. Now that sponging is done, I'll put the green stripe paper down. And you can see if I had put this down first and then tried to sponge, I probably would have gotten on top of this. The other thing you could do is put the paper down and then use a piece of scrap paper and just, hold it there and then do your sponging, and then you can throw this away and you'd get that nice clean edge also. So now let's do our stamping. I'll just leave that flat. So I'm going to use some black ink. And I already have, I think I have all of my stamps mounted on blocks. So we'll start with the butterfly. Get that nice and inked up. I've cut out the butterfly already on a light blue piece of paper. using the die cut that comes in the kit. That's a really beautiful butterfly. I like it. And then we are going to be stamping 5 of the little icons in these holes, and I'll color them in a little bit too. So if you can see, I'm using all the sides of my block here to get 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them mounted here. You can, always use the sides of these blocks. Just saves you a little bit of time in taking everything off one by one. So I'm gonna have the camera, I think I'll put here. And then, let's see what's on the other side. Has a globe. Put that one down at the bottom. It really doesn't matter, how you do these. There's several that are like leaves and flowers, so I thought I'd put those more in the middle. I think these film strips would be really cute too, with like some little cute animals. I'm gonna have to look through my stamp sets and see what else I might have that I would use with these little film strips. So there's 4 of them. I have another one mounted on just a separate block here, just some leaves. I'll put this going in a different direction than the one below it, just for a little more interest. That looks fantastic. We'll stamp the sentiment. Again, I'm using "Thanks, you're the best." I'm going to use black ink for that. And I'm going to put that right down here. And I didn't try this earlier, and now I see it's going to go over. Doesn't exactly fit. So I'm going to go on an angle. And then I think I will put the butterfly on the same angle. Yeah, I think that'll look good. When I make this again, I might use a shorter sentiment so it fits in the white space, or maybe eliminate this white space over here and move it over a little bit. I didn't check this one ahead of time, and sometimes that's what happens. So let's add a little more color to this with some markers. I'll use the lightest color of this yellow-green blend, I think, in the body here of the butterfly, maybe coloring his head a little bit. Just adding a little tiny bit of color. I'll add some on these leaves too. And this color goes nicely with the background and with the green stripes that we have on there. I think that's good. And I'll use a little bit of the aqua blue blend, the lightest color here. Just adding a little bit of concentration of color near the center of the butterfly wings. So I'm going over this really lightly. Maybe add a little bit out here in some of the lines. It just adds some more dimension and a little bit more visual interest, but this black butterfly stamp is really quite gorgeous. Okay, and then I'm gonna put the butterfly on with some dimensional tape. And that'll just lift it up off the page a little bit, and it'll also create a bit of a shadow over that green area that we sponged. The little dots I picked up are not quite as sticky as I want them to be, so I think I'm going to add a little bit of glue. which you normally don't have to do, but I just picked up a little odds and end piece of dimensional here, and I think the tape was already peeled off it. But you can always do that. You can always add glue or tape to the back of the dimensionals. And I'm going to put that on an angle because I have my words on an angle. And I think that looks just great. So we've got some color in the background that really shows off the butterfly, and you can see the shadows from the butterfly because it's lifted up. Thanks, you're the best. And this neat film strip with little images in it. And then because I love this butterfly so much, I'm going to also stamp it onto the envelope that's going to go with it. I always like to decorate the envelope when you have everything out and it's already inked up. It just adds a little extra. I'm going to put him over here. And this stamp is so beautiful. All right, there you have it. A quick little thank you card with butterfly, film reel, little icons, a little bit of blending brush action, matching envelope. And I think I really like this. So I will definitely be adding this to an upcoming card buffet. And I hope you'll join me and make it with me.